All right, welcome to the Bitcoin Daily Live Recap. I'm your host, Craig LeBlanc, the doorman here working with the Bitcoin Daily, building out this Bitcoin network of information coming your way every single day, 8 to 10 a.m. Eastern. We have our show here on X. I got 8 shows lined up every morning for the past 240 plus mornings and growing. We have not missed one day since we started. So thank you to all the people piling in and helping out and creating great content about something we're all so passionate about. Today, we had a great show on our Meetup Monday, and it focused a lot on our freedoms. It focused a lot on non-Bitcoin sovereignty, so non-Bitcoin freedoms. A lot of times the Bitcoiners focus primarily on freedom of money, which obviously is the big one, right? But we found out that there are other freedoms that we need to start securing. On our show, I'm watching a lot of this just reveal itself real time to me, and I know a lot to my audience as well. But the other day when Texas Slim came on and just opened my eyes up to our food supply and how we really think we have a lot of choices when we walk into a grocery store, but do we really? If everything in the center of the store is void of nutrition, then what options do you really have? And if maybe the meat section is the good section, but then as Texas Slim tells us that, hey, maybe it's really not. Maybe there's food coloring in that meat to make it look good. Maybe the fruit is made to look good and taste good, but it doesn't have nutrition in it. And maybe the center aisles of boxes is just more toxic sugar and processed foods that you really don't want to put your hands on anyway. And so he referred, the term he used was America is a food desert. And although I have heard that term before, I've never heard it referred to as, or never thought of it as the grocery stores that I walk through every day. And as I start to go down this Bitcoin rabbit hole, with which I am dragging you guys with me publicly, as I go down this Bitcoin rabbit hole, and not only am I seeing that the money is broken, the financing systems are broken, the banks are broken, every way that I have been compensated in my life for money, whether it's checkings account, savings account, the taxing policies, the regulation policies, I'm noticing that there is corruption involved. And even though you hear it growing up and you hear about the politics, and all the old people have told me my whole life, politics are corrupt, it really doesn't sink in, or it hasn't sunk in for me until I started on my Bitcoin journey and learned the history of money and the history of fiat currency, and how it plays into the favor of the people that control the money supply. But then along comes Texas Slim on one of our Friday shows. Tracy, thank you so much. You and Hector did a great job bringing him on. He's been on the show several times. And now, not only am I noticing that our money is corrupt, but our food supply is corrupt. And so here we are going about our daily lives, just going to work, paying our bills, trying to make a living, trying to get as much money as we can so that we can hopefully stop working and maybe do something that we love, either create something or go travel or something. But all on our back along the way, the whole money system is geared to where you make something, it takes some of what you made. And it gets to a point to where, man, it feels like I'm just spinning my wheels. Now, I know we've heard this 1,000 times, probably throughout our whole childhood, but it seems like it's just hitting a little harder nowadays than it has, like it's ramping up, like they're starting to squeeze us more. And although I thought it was primarily focused around money, I'm finding that there are many other ways that we are losing our freedom, we're losing the amount of good in our systems. And Texas Slim opened it up for me to say, hey, how about our beef? How about our cattle? How about our meat supply? Did you know that the pork has already been corrupted? I'd love to learn more about what he knows about all the other industries that have been corrupted and share that with y'all. So he will be coming back on the show, and I'm going to get my head wrapped around the food supply. Um, so today, what did we talk about? So we talked about Texas Slim and the food supply on the Friday show. We had a guy named Justin and a guy named Nuclear Bitcoiner come on the show 2 weeks back to back, and they started talking about energy. And I started to try to wrap my mind around what does a human really need? What does a human really need to flourish, to exist? And we just started to rattle off a few in open conversation. Go re-listen to today's show if you want to hear the discussion. But okay, we need money, means of exchange to go around so we can do business with one another. We need water. We need food. We need shelter. We need community. And we need electricity. And then another one we added to that was we need to communicate among each other. So we need connectivity. We need an internet connection. Okay, so if you look at these 6 or 7, I haven't counted how many. Let's go through these one at a time, which is what we did. And I'd like to start digging in more to each of these vital things. Being a business entrepreneur my entire life, I've read Sun Tzu's Art of War. I've always looked at things as if, it was a military action. What do you do to go conquer your enemy? Well, the first thing you do, you don't roll in with the tanks and the troops on day one. You fly in at night and take out their eyes and ears. You take out their ability to communicate among each other, their ability to detect you, their ability to let each other know that you're massing an attack in a certain geographical location. So if they can't talk among each other, then they can't collaborate. If they have no electricity, you might take out their power plants, you take out their electrical grid, you take out their bridges so they can't travel. And so this is just, how to take over a nation 101, right? If you're in the military, this should all make sense to you. And then when you roll in with their tank, with your tanks, you're attacking a population that hasn't had water, food, transportation, electricity, communication with each other for quite some time. And so they're just a much easier target. You're softening the target long before you roll in with your personnel. So my mindset has just been that way for so many years in business. We think kind of the same way. Obviously, we're not shooting weapons and we're not killing people, but we do have competition. It's how business works. It's the free market. And you'll find a lot of the same theories apply when it comes to conducting battle or war and conducting business. And so if we look at what's vital to run your home, to your family, your community, all right, you're going to need a good money. You're going to need a solid money to transact among each other. This is why I'm a big believer in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has really converted me in that way. This is what I'm going to use. I think this is the future of money. All right, but let's move on from that because we have a lot of content around that topic, and I want to move on into something that's, what are the other things you're going to need? Of course, Texas Slim brought up you need meat, and there's a pile of carnivores among the Bitcoiners, and they're converting me as well. I just finished eating some hanger steak on my George Foreman grill with the what's that famous salt from Utah? Redmond's salt. So, I'm buying into that too. And honestly, I have a lot of energy around there. So now I've been looking to source high quality food, locally grown, getting to know my cattlemen, getting to know my cattle ranchers, even working with them a day a week just to volunteer and kind of understand their system a little bit more. So that's something you need. Obviously, you need food, right? So let's move on to the next one. Something Justin spoke well on and Nuclear spoke well on. You need electricity. Imagine how formidable you would be as an opponent with or without electricity. Okay, electricity, cheap, dependable electricity. Okay, this allows you to do so many things. Think of the things that run on electricity right now. Okay, your smartphone, your clean water that's being pumped to your house. That pump, it doesn't run on hamster power. It runs on electricity. Okay, we have an electrified world, and where there is most abundance in creativity and entrepreneurship, human flourishing, we have the cheapest, most available, abundant electricity. Here in Louisiana, I think it's 8 to 9 cents a kilowatt hour, and you can buy all day and night. It never flinches. It rarely goes out unless there's some big storm, and then they get us back up and running, and you can just pour it on and buy all the electricity you could ever stand. That is just not the case many other places where electricity is super expensive. or just non-existent at all. So electricity is a huge component. And here's the danger that my buddy Justin highlighted along with nuclear and macro on our Thursday show is we have got a new purchaser of electricity that has an unlimited checkbook to jack the price up of global electricity that's coming and electrical generation. And that is AI. AI is coming to price you out, I promise you, of electricity, because what they can do with electricity and what you can do with electricity are two totally different profit structures. So what do you do with your electricity? You warm water, you cook a steak, you watch TV. Are you creating human level intelligence and deploying it to make money 24/7? Because that's what AI is doing. These AI companies are taking their electricity, running it through computers, and creating and approaching human level task, human level intelligence. Okay, and then they're buying electricity with the money they made with this new AI intelligence. Okay, so they're going to have much more funding available as they bring to market this AI, and that's what's essentially buying the electricity. And when electricity becomes scarce in America because the AI companies are booming and growing faster than you are having babies and consuming electricity for hot water and air conditioning, then you have to look at it this way. What are you turning your electricity into? Okay, and who's competing with you? Who's competing with you for that electricity? And if someone in the market, when electricity becomes scarce, and if somebody in the market says, hey, I'll pay 12 cents a kilowatt hour for that Louisiana electricity, okay, then you're going to get priced out of the market. So I think we're quickly approaching, as AI gets power hungry, and it is a power hungry beast, and it is growing. Okay, we are going to have I hate to use the word war, so we're going to use something a little softer. A competitive environment. We're going to have a super competitive environment for electricity. And it is coming here to America where AI will have, I think, make the biggest splashdown. Now, perhaps, and fortunately, I think this is a good signal. It might be painful up front. I think AI is going to just blast through all the red tape and all the AI companies. So who are we talking about when we say AI? We're talking about Microsoft, Amazon, OpenAI, Elon Musk with his Dojo computers, and any huge data company that's capturing data, that's using computers to turn electricity into artificial intelligence and then eventually general artificial intelligence. I believe this is going to be the major competitor, and they are not going to wait for the next big nuclear powerhouse to be built. If nuclear is the way to go, my hope is they will just mow down all the red tape, build these 1,000-megawatt nuclear powerhouses, plug their supercomputers into it, and that's how we are going to plow through a lot of this regulation. This is obviously very hopeful. I know a lot of people disagree that it will happen that quickly, but I do know these people have the money to do it, and they are not taking no for an answer because they've got profit to spend, and the only thing holding them back is not enough electricity. At the same time, we are all plebs here, having our home plugged into the electrical grid, are going to have to deal with this new buyer of electricity that is taking the electrical grids by storm. Okay, and you're going to start seeing major news outlets saying this, like I'm sure y'all all saw the one where Amazon bought a nuclear powerhouse and put their mining equipment right next to it. Excuse me, sorry, I'm still thinking. I've got a Bitcoin brain here, so I don't mean mining. I mean their data centers. So who's the third player? The third player are Bitcoin miners. So Bitcoin miners themselves are always hungry for power, and they're looking for off-peak power, off-grid power, any kind of power where you can plop a miner and mine Bitcoin. Obviously, these are the ones that are also looking for that scarce electricity. They don't care where it comes from. And they also don't need it all the time. A Bitcoin mining operation, so for those of you that don't know, I guess let me give you a tad bit of backstory. A Bitcoin miner is a shoebox-sized computer called an ASIC miner, and it mines Bitcoin. It's a big part of the Bitcoin network. It's necessary for Bitcoin to work. but they are super power hungry. One little Bitcoin miner, about the size of a shoebox, can draw, 25 amps of 220, which is about the load of maybe a dryer. So imagine a clothes dryer. A Bitcoin miner consumes roughly about the same amount within um, one or two times that. And so when you see these big sea cans with just hundreds of these miners inside of them, that is a huge power draw. However, this thing can be located in the middle of nowhere, middle of Texas, where there was an old gas well that was abandoned. We can throw a natural gas generator on top of it, and that generator can provide electricity where there is no one else. And so that's the good thing about Bitcoin mining, is it doesn't care where it's located. It can be in the middle of the jungle, on some little river. It can be in the middle of nowhere, Texas, Tumbleweed, Texas, on some abandoned natural gas well or old oil well. And you can use some of these generators, take that natural gas, turn it into electricity. The electricity is fed to the Bitcoin miners. That's turned into Bitcoin. And then now you have a digital asset that can be sold on the open market anytime, 24/7, instantly, like minutes after you create it. So this is these are some big things playing out in the energy world. Now, I know I started off this conversation about freedom, but remember, we started out with freedom money. Texas Slim brought us into our food supply, so that's freedom food. I would say freedom food more or less means grow your own food, know your own cattle ranchers, shop at your farmer's market. Just because it's a little cheaper at the grocery store does not mean you're actually buying something that can sustain your body. Mostly it's just going to make you overweight and sick and addicted to drugs anyway. So feed yourself locally sourced food. And then lastly is our energy equation. So I think we've got such an exciting time here where we've got a new huge buyer coming onto the market. And I don't think a lot of people see that as a big shift, but AI could actually consume more power globally than all of us put together. Let me repeat that. Artificial intelligence, actually, this is my prediction, and I don't think it's a smart prediction. I think it's an obvious prediction. AI will consume more power than the human race is currently consuming as one industry sector. Okay, because anytime you can leverage and sell human level intelligence and deploy it at cents per kilowatt versus the current model, which is give birth to it, feed it for 20 years, educate it, clothe it, deal with its teenage drama, put it through school, and then it only wants to work 40 hours a week and it complains and needs 6 days and holidays. Okay, AI will do the job much quicker and much more reliably as AI starts to grow what it can do in its capacity to do similar work to human level intelligence. So this thing is coming on like gangbusters. It is going to be faster than anything else we have. Bitcoin as well is also consuming the entire asset class and needs Bitcoin mining to back it up. And then you've got us lowly humans down here just using our electricity to heat water, cook, watch TV, and hit Netflix. So I would say that among the three big power consumers, being Bitcoin mining, AI, and all of the rest of the human race and how we use it, I would say we're kind of on the bottom of the totem pole is what we're willing to pay and what we can do. So it should be a very interesting few decades as we see these three juggernauts kind of fight for positioning among the global energy production. Now let's move on to the couple of other ones. I'm just going to barely touch on these because I really want to learn more about them. But let's talk about water. I think water, clean water, accessible clean water is a function of electricity because we know that there are technologies out there that can pull water right out of the air. It's just that electricity isn't cheap enough. So I think we're going to need cheap electricity, and then we can pretty much get water from anywhere. Other than that, you're going to have these water deserts as well. But fortunately, I think we have a movement caused by a fourth one. This fourth one is connectivity, and your employment kind of works with connectivity. As you are more connected, as you are connected to the internet, many of us entrepreneurs entrepreneurs globally are now saying, well, now, wait a minute. I don't need to live in downtown wherever or in the suburbs and need to drive into work and commute. I can work from my computer. I can provide value to the world and make a nice pay. And so now I can move back to my small town USA, live there, live cheaply. They got plenty of water. They got plenty of electricity over there because they got this massive generator. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of cities in America have their own natural gas generator that runs the city. The city owns it. They got tons of power because a lot of these cities have lost population and these old generators have plenty of capacity. So I think that's going to be a movement to people that are tired of living in the hustle and bustle of the city and want to go out and live maybe a simple small town life, but they just didn't have any jobs. Now with the internet connectivity, hey, move back to your small town USA, get a home there, maybe even a little office downtown, go to your local coffee house, make your money, and not have to deal with all the rat race of these booming cities. Now, I'm a big city boy, so I love the cities as well, but I also appreciate the country. And it is hard to appreciate the country when you don't have internet, you don't have electricity. Okay, so now that we have Starlink, okay, you can go into the middle of nowhere and put up a hut, hook it up to electricity, and you have the same ability to generate wealth online through your online business or through working with companies that allow you to work from home. So this is a huge shift that I think was made, the gas pedal was put to the floor during the 2020 pandemic when everybody was forced to work from home. And now we all realize we can't work from home. Okay. So a lot of things are happening very quickly. And I think what we want to highlight is how we need to start securing our freedom among all these. So what do I mean by freedom? Is you want money that you can freely transact in. Of course, that's going to be Bitcoin. You want to have a food source that the farmer or the rancher or the guy you met at the farmer's market, he's actually growing the food. You're not depending on some food chain. You're not depending on some big grocery store, some supply chain. You're going straight to the guy that grows it. And he is happy to do business directly with you in Bitcoin rather than have to go through and get beat down by the people that buy in bulk and then ship through all these supply chains. Trust me, all the farmers, all the cattle ranchers would love to do business directly with you. So get to know your local farmers so that you can secure your food supply for your family and you're not dependent on all this other stuff to be going right. Lastly, electric independence. Well, this one's going to be big and up in the air. There's so much discussion around it. I know a lot of people are talking about solar and batteries and winds, but Justin and nuclear have shot tons of holes in that one, at least at the grid scale, maybe not at the micro if you're in the middle of nowhere on your home or on your property. But when it comes to supplying the United States of America, an industrial juggernaut with electricity, let me tell you, I believe in nuclear and I believe in hydro and I believe in geothermal. I think these developing nuclear technology and developing and getting the red tape and the bureaucracy off the back of nuclear. Let me tell you, I have met some nuclear engineers, and that is the way to go. I think we have proven that this is going to be safe. And if I can be a proponent for more nuclear, which is clean, and it's big power. It's not this intermittent when the sun's up and when the wind blows. And look, as much I have been a proponent of wind and solar for quite some time, but when you compare it to what nuclear can do and spin up 1,000 megawatts and never back off, and it doesn't matter what the wind does or the sun does or a storm does, nuclear powerhouses just pour on the power. And that's what we need if we're going to develop into a flourishing population, a flourishing humanity, a flourishing planet. We don't need intermittent. We need something that's massive power. And with these two power-hungry things coming online in Bitcoin and AI, we're going to need it fast. So lastly is secure your internet, secure your data connectivity. I'm a huge fan of Starlink. I think everyone needs to get one. This is something we need to support. It's hard to shut down. You can have it in the middle of nowhere. You're not going through some big centralized conglomerate like AT&T or Cox, is who we have down in New Orleans. And you can travel with it. You can actually bring these with you on your RV so that when you travel or when you go to this remote home that you have in the woods, I don't know how the rest of the planet is. Let me tell you about Louisiana. Everybody's got a camp where we go hunting and we go fishing. And so we have these remote places that we go to on the weekends where we hunt and fish and cook and get drunk and you name it. And that's Louisiana life. So maybe we're the only population that does that. But for those of you that haven't experienced it, please come down and we'll show you a good time around that. All right, so I'll go ahead and land the plane there or crash it there. What I'd like to add is today is Meetup Monday. Tomorrow in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, we're having a meetup at the Bulldog 6 to 9 every Tuesday, every single Tuesday, not once a month, once a week. And then on Wednesday, same thing. Wednesday at the Bayou Beer Garden, we have a weekly meetup for Bitcoiners, non-Bitcoiners, crypto people. You just come in. Obviously, it's me, so I'm going to be talking all about Bitcoin, trying to convert you from your crypto ways to Bitcoin. But I have a lot of love for you because I used to be into all kind of crypto. So I am patient. I'm not going to beat you over the head with it. I'm not a Bitcoin toxic maxi, but I am 100% into Bitcoin. So I guess that's my statement there. And then on Thursday, we have a booming crowd growing in Lafayette. So if you're anywhere in South Louisiana on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, please come join us. Say hello. I will be at all three of these till I can install some or find some volunteers to help me lead this Louisiana crowd. If you're not close, look up your local meetup. Go into meetup.com or go into Telegram groups. Ask around. Look for a local Bitcoin meetup. It is important that you have a strong community surrounding you. In any case, why wouldn't you? I mean, do you really just want to be alone, locked in your basement without any sunshine? Get dressed, get out, take a shower, and go meet your Bitcoiners once a week, once a month. They're great people, super smart. And I promise you won't be disappointed. And if you are disappointed, then fly on down to New Orleans and I will buy you a beer and we'll walk you through this disappointment because I think we can get you through it. We need to get you out there among people, having friends, having a great time. And, so I'll close it there. Love you guys. Thank y'all so much. I'm going to keep doing these daily updates. And I've got a few people that are going to come on live with me. I'm going to interview them. So we'll have a little split screen and we'll interview some movers and shakers in the Bitcoin community. Can't wait till we launch that. I'm still figuring out the tech here. Hopefully I'm getting a little bit better at this. You see, I've got a new mic. I've got some fantastic new glasses so I can see better. And then got some background music and some other stuff. So soon I'll have thumbnails, you name it. We're actually looking like a halfway decent show put together. We're not just the pleb show here. Thank you so much for all you other content creators leading the way. Speaking of content creation, tomorrow, Content Creator Tuesday, BT Cosmonaut, he puts on a fantastic show, 8 to 10 a.m. here on X. Don't miss it. See you guys there. Love y'all. Y'all have an awesome day.